And William Henry joins us, investigative mythologist, as we talk about angels and aliens and shapeshifters in the Anunnaki. Get ready for all of that with William Henry in a moment on Coast to Coast AM. And welcome back to Coast to Coast. William Henry, investigative mythologist, author of numerous books and DVD presentations, including Stargate 2012, Revelation 2012. He applies the latest theories in science and consciousness to ancient myths, and, well, he uncovers the secrets that are guarded by such groups as the Illuminati. Here he is on Coast to Coast, back again, Coast to Coast favorite. William, how are you?
Wonderful, George. So nice to talk with you.
Have you been traveling all over the planet again?
I have. I was did a wonderful event with David Wilcock in Tempe, Arizona, just before Thanksgiving, and was in Philly this past weekend, actually.
Super. You and David Wilcock together in one room. Oh, my God. What a brain, huh?
Oh, it was an incredible time. David has picked up on this Tibetan rainbow body of light research that I've been doing and applied some amazing new DNA science to it to really, we put together just an astonishing presentation. I hope to get together with him again soon.
Yeah, he's a super guy. Still thinks that President Obama is going to disclose aliens and have them flanked by him, but that's what he says. He said his sources tell him that, so I'm waiting for the moment.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you, just kind of sitting here going, "Let's see it. Let's just get it done. Let's do it. Make it happen. Shoot it with a smile, President Obama. Let's just make it happen. Tell us what's really going on."
Absolutely. Have you been in D.C. lately?
I was in D.C. the most recent time in August, and I just wanted to share a fun story. I had been trying for a long while to get into the off-limits to the public congressional reading room. This is where the members of the Congress and Senate go to read. It's in the Library of Congress in the Jefferson Building, and I kept getting all these no answers. And then one day I called and the door opened. And so I visited there back in August. I go in to meet the librarian in charge, and she says, "I know who you are." And then she says, "Is George Noory as kind in person as he sounds on the radio?" So thank you, George, for opening the door to this incredible room where it has some of the most astonishing Ascension artwork. It complements what you find in the dome of the U.S. Capitol, and I'd just been really dying to get in there just to study it personally. And so I'm very thankful to that librarian for giving me that opportunity to spend a couple hours in there studying that artwork.
I remember you told us when you were in the Capitol building how you got down on your back and looked straight up at the artwork and everything else, and you were just in awe. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. And in fact, I've since learned, George, I mean, people have gone into the Capitol and tried to do the same thing, and they tell them that you can't do that because that's considered a form of protest.
Really?
Exactly. And I got married back in October. My wife is British, and I had to fly up to Chicago to go to the Homeland Security office in Chicago, and I was actually sitting on the floor talking on the phone, and I was told by a brush-cut security guy, "Sir, you're going to have to stand up. You're not allowed to sit in a federal building. It's a form of protest." And so I've kind of encouraged people to say, well, if you're going to follow my lead and go into the dome of the Capitol to engage yourself and enjoy this incredible painting of George Washington on the rainbow in his ascension phase, might be better off just to stand up, because otherwise you could be liable to be arrested or thrown out of the building.
Absolutely. And you got married. Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much, George. Yeah, I met my wife, Claire. She's from England. She was on my Egypt tour, and it was love at first sight. I know for me and Claire, took her a day or two maybe, but after a while, by the end of the tour, everyone's saying, "What's going on here?" And she came to visit this summer, and I couldn't let her go, and so we got married October 24th on the beach in Destin, Florida.
Well, good for you. Boy, my sources are slipping. Nobody told me this.
I have a photo of her on my blog.
Okay.
On my website, williamhenry.net, and go to my blog. It says it's time, and there's a picture of Claire and I.
Oh, let me tell Lex, who's out there doing his thing, our webmaster, steal the picture, Lex, and put it on our website under our Digicam. Get it up there tonight. When it's there, tell me so everybody can go and look at that.
Yeah, it's my beautiful bride, Claire. I've waited 48 years for her.
For you.
Thank you.
And you're still doing a lot of work with Whitley, right, on Dreamland?
Absolutely. Yeah, I host the show Revelations every Wednesday. Got a 30-minute show, and just try to keep up to date that way. There's so much going on right now that it's almost, as you know, you just about can't keep up.
No, I know. And what's going on with a new website of yours?
Well, it was time to launch a new website. My earlier iteration it was a few years old, and I wanted to come up with a little bit of a new look and a new focus. And in the past, I've focused mostly on the idea of ancient stargates and wormholes. I'm still deeply interested in that, but now the new site kind of marks a shift in my focus. I was tremendously inspired. I was actually, not to be a name dropper here, but I was having dinner with Robert Downey Jr. this past summer as a friend, and he was talking about what I've been doing, and he said, what you're really doing is showing us the next level of humanity. And I said, well, it's funny because I've been inspired by Albert Einstein's quote, who said that we can't solve the problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. In order to solve our current problems, the next human will have to emerge. And I'm thinking, well, so who's the next human? Is it us? Are we the ones the Hopi say we've been waiting for? Or is there another version of humankind that's out there right now getting ready to come online? And if so, who is that being? How will we know that being when they arrive?
Is this a new evolution from WilliamHenry.net?
It is. I'm going to be focusing more on how we reveal the next human within ourselves, because that's what I believe this is all about. We tend to wear our souls on the inside, whereas I think the next human is going to wear the soul on the outside. We're going to be more spiritually based, and this is kind of the crossroads that we're at right now. There's this huge transhumanism movement right now where you have all the computer companies that are racing to create computer technology that will actually wear for a time, but we know that what they really want is to make the human body the human skin actually the next platform for computer development. All this high technology in genetics, nanotechnology, neuroscience, and medicine is actually geared towards implanting this technology in our skin so that we effectively become iBods. And that's one version of the next human. The other version is more of a spiritually based, in tune more with the Milky Way galaxy, and expanding our consciousness as light beings. And that's kind of the direction I'm focusing on.
Tell me about the Stargates and some of the work you've been doing, and then we'll, of course, get into angels, aliens, the Anunnaki, and also these shapeshifters as well. What's going on in the world of Stargates these days?
Well, I've been looking at this idea ever since I read Zecharia Sitchin's books back in the early 90s. I kept noticing that while he was talking about the Anunnaki, the gods flying around in rocket ships, that almost every time he would show a depiction of the gods entering the Earth plane, they seemed to be coming and going through gateways. And I started collecting images of the cylinder seals, that tell these ancient stories of these gods emerging or coming and going from the Earth plane. And sure enough, they're stepping through gateways, they're stepping through portals. And what I also noticed is that accompanying these images of portals and gateways were stories of human transformation, that you didn't just simply up and walk through one of these stargates like you see in the movies Contact and Stargate. Rather, the ancients focused on the transformation of humans into divine beings or gods preparatory to going through that gate. And I believe that we're on the verge of duplicating these ascension chambers, if you will, that we see depicted in these ancient representations, and that this is going to be opening the door towards traveling in parallel dimensions, teleportation. It will change everything overnight and will probably happen within the next 10 years.
The work of Albert Einstein, and you believe he got it correct when it comes to change, and he said we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used to when we created them. What did he mean by that?
Well, what he said is we have to think out of the box, think outside the box. First of all, we have to be open to new possibilities, and this is the crossroads that we're at right now. We can either keep doing the same thing over and over again, and as they say, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And right now we're on the verge of entering into insanity and total chaos if we don't get outside of ourselves, reach to our higher selves, our perfect selves, if you will, that inner perfect being, and connect with higher intelligences that can help us to solve our current problems. This isn't to say that we're waiting for some kind of a savior figure to manifest out of thin air. We're not waiting for the guys in the flying saucers to come down and solve things for us. We can do it ourselves, but it's just that we have to evolve mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally into the next level of human in order to transcend our current situation.
I was talking earlier about the genetic alteration of human beings, almost turning people into fighting machines, cyborgs. Mm-hmm. Do you see that happening, William, with the next human, or do you see more of an evolution, a spiritual evolution, where the next evolution of a human being will be something grander than what we are today?
Well, I mean, this is something, again, I've been looking at since my book, Cloak of the Illuminati, when I became very interested in that super soldier suit that MIT is developing for the U.S. military.